Welcome back. So in the last video, we took care of cleaning the filter on this tank, and I think this time we're gonna work on trimming. This tank has really grown a lot since we first put it together about a year ago, and it's definitely time to trim things, and I think we're gonna just get started. I'm gonna be using this trash can and these curved scissors. We're gonna start at the top and work our way down. These plants are blocking a lot of the light from getting down below into the fish tank. So I'm gonna go through and we're gonna be pretty ruthless. Anything that has black spots on it or any yellowing of the leaves is going to get trimmed first. I really like these curved scissors because you can get down into places that regular scissors wouldn't be able to reach. I'm also going to trim a lot of these lower leaves. As the plants grow, these lower leaves tend to start becoming more of a nuisance than anything. The plants that I'm trimming right now are peace lilies. These are an emergent species that can have their roots in the water, but their leaves cannot be in the water. Again, even little black spots, we're going to be cutting those off. These leaves up here are getting to be a little bit problematic. They're growing under the light, and you can see that they are really impeding the amount of light that is getting down to the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and trim this one off since it's browned, and that's just from the light burning it. And we can kind of train this one up and out of the way. This is a flower. Time for it to go. We'll just kind of go through, move things if we can. This is a philodendron. There we go. I think some of these leaves here need to go. Again, we're just going through and we're clipping anything that's not beautiful. Removing a lot of dead leaves. On this tank, I think I'm going to work from the top down, getting things like this out. And really being kind of ruthless on these stem plants. We can just pull those. We're going to be adding more plants to it later, so it doesn't really matter what we do with these. We definitely have algae in here. I'm just kind of removing that as I go. You'll notice on some of these leaves I have quite a bit of algae. We should be able to just rub that right off. So I think now that we've made it down into the fish tank, there's a couple of plants that I want to go ahead and remove, as they're going to be easier to trim and clean up outside of the water. I was going to start with this Anubias here. It shouldn't be very well attached. We should be able to give it a little tug and have it come out. See, we've got quite a bit of algae, and this whole plant really needs to be trimmed and separated into multiple pieces. So we're going to put that in a bucket for now. I do have to be careful because there are shrimp and fish living in this tank right now. And I don't want to accidentally pull any shrimp out. The only fish in this tank are a couple of clown loaches right now. Big anubias, some java fern, I think it'll be a lot easier to work on this tank whenever we have some of these plants out of here. Probably go ahead and trim some of these roots while we're at it. These are all from the peace lilies and the pothos that are out of the top. But yeah, we're just going to pretty much pull as many epiphytes out as we can. We'll replace them later. So I got that big rock out, but it made quite the mess. So we're gonna get this placed back the way it was. All right, I'm kind of liking that. Make sure this heater doesn't come up out of the water too much. There we go. I'm just gonna kind of reach in here and push the substrate back down. We're gonna be moving some crypts around, I think. Kind of take up that area in the back. This rock doesn't look good here. And that's kind of the thing we're doing whenever we're trimming and rescaping, is just moving things that don't look good. Step back and we'll take a look at it. See which direction we need to go next. I think what we should probably do is pull these crypts out the best we can, and then we'll replant them after we get some more trimming done. Crypts can be a little bit tricky to pull out. So for the crypt plants that we're going to pull, we're going to get down really close to the substrate, as close as we can. Because they have really expansive root systems, we want to dig down in there as low as we can and pull very slowly. This one is really well rooted. Trick is to just be gentle and take your time. You see all that dust coming up from the substrate? So now that we've made a really big mess, I think I'm gonna go ahead and do a water change so that we can see what we're doing. If you don't have an automatic water changer, I recommend getting one. It makes jobs like this so much easier. We're gonna be draining this water down quite far, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the pump so that it doesn't run dry. I'm just gonna keep picking out plants as this drains. I'm leaving the pearl grass in place. We're gonna trim it down and replant some because I really like the carpet that it's producing. All right, so now that we've made a big mess and we've done a couple of water changes, I'm gonna go ahead and turn the filter back on so that it can start getting the water cleared up while we work on getting a little bit of the bigger particles out. I've got duckweed in this tank and I would like to get it all out, but I know that's never gonna happen. So while that filter is clearing things out, I'm just gonna sit here at the bench and I'm gonna continue cleaning up these plants, looking for any discoloration, any holes in leaves, any broken leaves that need to be removed. That way, whenever we go to plant them, they're gonna be in tip-top shape. This is the one we trimmed. We'll probably trim off these leaves a little bit too. I'm sorry, the roots. See, we got some holes in this leaf here. I'll just go ahead and cut that one off. When you're making your cuts, you want to try and get pretty close down to the bottom here, because all that's going to die off and it'll just rot in your tank. These we can go ahead and separate. They'll be new plants. Just separate these. Again, removing the dead and dying leaves. This is actually a diseased portion of the plant. We want to make sure and get rid of that. I think I'm going to cut this one right here too. So now that the filter has had time to kind of clear this out a little bit, I'm gonna start with trimming this pearlweed. I'm gonna be using the scissors, and then I'm also going to be replanting it with the tweezers. My idea is that I kind of want to have it fill out all the way to the sides. So I'm just gonna start by grabbing little clumps of it, trimming them off, and then replanting them with the tweezers. Pearlweed has a tendency to float, so when you trim it, you want to have a good hold on it, otherwise the whole tank will be full of pearlweed. Now that I got a handful, what I'll do is I'll take the tweezers, I'll get a little clump, make sure they're all facing the right direction. It doesn't have to be very long. And I'll just reach down and plug that area in. We'll do this a couple hundred times. All right, now that we've got that all done, we're gonna get the other plants and we're gonna start putting them back in. So in addition to the plants that we already had in the tank, I decided I wanted to add a couple more. This is Pogostegmon octopi, and I think it's gonna look really good in the background here. So we're just gonna kind of stick it down here. It's gonna kind of blend in with those roots a little bit, really give you something to look at in the back of the tank. These will grow all the way up to the top of the tank, and they spread out really well. So I think they'll make a nice addition back here. And I'm just kind of placing them down in the substrate with the tweezers, spreading them out, because I know that they're gonna get bigger and bushier. This one looks a little funky. It was floating on top of the water. We're just gonna dot these throughout. Got another tank over here I'm just tossing any errant pearlweed into. I'm just kind of working from the back to the front. All right, and let's get down to some of these cryptocoreans. So I've got a couple of different species in here. I'm not 100% sure what they are, but I do know that I have some that are shorter and some that are larger. So I'm gonna put the shorter ones closer to the front with the bigger ones behind them. I did put some water in this bucket just to keep things wet. You don't want to let your plants dry out while you're doing this sort of thing. All right, here's another one. This one's kind of a medium size. I'm kind of wrapping the roots a little bit around the bottom here, really loosely, not tight. And then that way I can grab onto them really nicely with those tweezers. And then I can get them down into the substrate. Again, we'll wrap those roots around the base there, just real gentle. This is a bigger one, so I'm gonna put it near the back here. Just get it deep down in there. The crypts do spread. This tank probably had maybe 15 or so crypts in it when I started, and they definitely grew out and created more. Again, we've got another big one here. We'll give it maybe down in here. Kind of tried to take all the big rocks out so we had lots of room to plant. I missed this one. The crypts don't need a massive amount of light. That's why I'm able to kind of plant them in the shadows back here. I'm not doing too much to the sides because I know that's where my Anubias and my Java Fern is going to go. Just kind of going through and plugging them in where I think they will look the best. No real rhyme or reason to it much. Just kind of keeping the smaller ones closer to the front, the bigger ones closer to the back. I don't want to get them too close to the pearlweed because I want it to spread into them, and they need a lot of light, the pearlweed does. And if we have the crypts shading it, it won't creep out any further than where it is. It's always going to be looking for the light. I think we've just about got all the crypts out of here. Yep. So now we're down to Anubias and Java Fern. And I think I'm going to start with the Java Ferns just because they are bigger. Oh, you know what? I found some crypts. We'll get these in there. So as I was saying, with the Java Fern and the Anubias, they are epiphyte plants, and so they don't get planted down in the substrate. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna kind of jam them in between all these sticks that these mangrove roots have and let them root themselves on those plants. Normally, if it's a new setup and everything is dry, I'll use super glue and glue the rhizomes on. But since this one is already wet, super glue isn't gonna work. So we'll just have to let the plants do their own work. These are big Java ferns and anubiases, so it should be pretty easy. We'll probably spread this out a little bit and kind of wedge it in there. Find a good spot for this one. So I'm just kind of pushing it in between the sticks here. There we go. So we'll do that. And since this is sort of a symmetrical scape, I'm going to basically be alternating. I'm going to go from one side to the other, just slowly adding plants until things look right. I think this one needs to go down here. The orientation isn't hugely important right now. The plants will turn themselves back the right direction. The only thing you want to do is make sure that anubias is growing in the right direction. I'll show you that on this one. So this is the direction of growth on this one. This is where any new leaves are going to come out. So we always want to make sure that that's pointed in the direction we want it to grow. We're just going to work back and forth from the edges in. Kind of like that the anubias has long roots on it, like the pothos and the peace lilies from above. Kind of mimics that. Sort of wedge that in there. So yeah, what I've done here though, this kind of blocks this light here, so I might want to move that a little bit up. There we go. That way that pearl weed gets all that nice bright light. Now, I might have to move some of this anubias later, depending on how much light it's getting. It might end up being too bright for it, and it'll start burning those leaves. Just have to kind of pay attention as we go and things start filling out. Every once in a while, I like to take a step back and kind of bend down, look at it. Like right here, we have a bit of a bare spot. Jam an anubias in there. There we go. I think that might be done. All right. We'll let that water clear up a little while. We'll come back tomorrow and we'll see if anything needs to be moved. All right, through the magic of video editing, it's now the next day and the tank is cleared up completely crystal clear. What do you guys think? Please be sure to subscribe, as I'll be updating on this tank in a few months' time. Thank you.